Athletic Sports. My name is Brian, and yes, another day, another answer to some of the questions as well as the queries that you have, especially to do with that is a local football as well as local infrastructure. A lot of people, especially from the previous videos, have been commenting and talking about how it's too late, how the government is taking a lot of their time, how we're supposed to do this thing a little bit more faster. And I have a little bit of the answers for a few questions, and also to give you an insight of exactly what we need to do as a nation to see that whatever infrastructure, whatever stadium that we build, at least meets the standards. And of course, like yesterday, if you were watching that video, you saw something to do with the sample size of what really happened. For example, in a country like South Africa, they built very good stadiums, the Moses Mabhida stadiums, all the Mandela Bay Stadium. They are very good stadiums, but the question would be, how do you sustain them? Not for us to have issues like South Africa had after a very good tournament. Then you have stadiums that do not have, people going to them. They are not sustainable in any way. How are we going to be doing that? And of course, a lot of questions and a lot of delays usually in constructing such facilities come from a few issues, and I wanted to go through a few issues that might affect the stadiums and how we can really cap them, because I know a lot of people that are in decision making areas really watch this video, so we can contribute to our nation by saying a few things that we think can be incorporated. And today we are going to be looking at one or two, and of course one of the biggest challenges that we face as a nation or any country, especially in the third world, not only in the third world but anywhere that are going to be constructing a stadium. The financial constraints are really very, very key. And of course, you all know that these projects require substantial amounts of financial injections. And of course, we really have issues with African nations not having the most equitable budgets that can really meet these projects. So that is where we have issues, and that is where the delay comes in. And in fact, in the case of Uganda, the reason why some of the constructions have been delayed is because we need to put up the necessary funds, and we cannot commit ourselves to a construction company that really will come in and want to do the job very fast, and the funds are not available. So we need to have a plan B of where the funds are going to be coming from, and in case the challenges come in, then we know how to deal with them. So I think financial constraints is one of the few things that may not even give us the designs that we need, because a lot of people have been complaining the designs are fake, and we need a very good design, but all these designs come with money, because whatever you want to see incorporated in the stadium really needs a lot of money. So that is one of the limitations that we have in there. But how are we going to really cap that down and see that we really work to see that the infrastructure is developed, and also to see that at least the government is not strained 100%. That is where the private public partnerships come in. You remember very well Akii-Bua Stadium, where of course it was a partnership between government and a private investor, that is Aham, who was given a lease of over 40 years to really construct that interesting stadium. And to me, I really think that is where we need to look at. We need to really have these partnerships. These partnerships kind of like ease the pressure on government to see that everything goes on. The other partnership that we really need to see happen is the Arua Hill Stadium. You remember very well, if you watch the first few videos, I talked about the Arua Hill Stadium. It was one of the projects that stalled so many years. I think it has been on for over 4 or 5 years, and there's a local investor. It was a 20,000 capacity seater stadium that was supposed to be built, and his idea was for it to incorporate sports facilities, for example, for sports like football, like volleyball. There was supposed to be a facility for basketball, badminton, and tennis, all supposed to be part of that stadium. But what really happened was he did not have the finances that really were available to really complete the stadium. You remember that gentleman is an entrepreneur called Joel Jaffa Aita. Of course, you remember even throwing in the towel for Arua Hill. He was one of their, of course, owners in there, and he threw in the towel. So The club has gone through a very tough time, even getting relegated back to the big league. So they've had a lot of issues because the money was not available there. So I remember early this year, I think in February, there was an intervention that was requested by Mr. I think he's Charles Ayume, Koboko Municipality Member of Parliament. He came out and asked for government to intervene and come in and talk to this gentleman and find a way. And I remember that the Minister for State for Sports, Mr. Peter Guang, came out and said that government will really look for this gentleman and talk to him and see how they can find a way out and bail him out, because that stadium and the project stalled because what he wanted to build was a commercial facility around the stadium, and then for him to generate his money just like Ham did, and then come up with a very good stadium. I think we need much of these partnerships, because one thing, the build or the person who is in charge of the facility wants to generate income. That we cannot deny him. But we also need a facility, because we need so many of these facilities around the country for us to have at least development of sports in one another. So this is the only cheapest way and easiest way, because government does not use their funds. All they do, they find a way of coming in and helping out these people. It is half-half, It is, for me, the best way for us to go. And these gentlemen come out, recoup their money, and then, get a little bit of the way out. And of course, the other thing, we all know that the other way we can achieve facilities and have a lot of facilities in a lot of the countries in there is through hosting tournaments like African Cup of Nations, African Games, and all the other tournaments. You all know that Uganda did not have any plans for constructing such multi-million stadiums, especially in a record time, 2 or 3 years. We did not have that. But hosting these stadiums comes with a lot of hosting these tournaments comes with a lot of demands that I think, to me, gives our countries the potential to really have things like tourism being boosted, local economies, because you have people coming in. Now we have an improved airport. That means people are coming in and are paying money. When you look at the statistics of how many people traveled into the country in the previous 3 or 4 years, you'll notice that after COVID, the number reduced. Now we have a lot of people coming in, and for these tournaments, you'll have a lot of people coming in, not only to watch the tournaments, but just to have vacations, to enjoy the country and see the sceneries of the beautiful Uganda. So I really think that all countries around East Africa are really looking to tap into the tourism sector and boost their economies, because investments are coming. People will look at these these tournaments as investment opportunities. Where am I going to put my money to recoup it through this tournament? So and also the other thing I got to know is that most of these countries, of course, will want to make an impression that will last for a very long time. I'll give you an example. Uganda would want to put a picture into Africa that they will see for the next 15 or 30 years. We've had a lot of political challenges. We've had a lot of social challenges, human rights challenges. This is the moment for us to be in the face of everyone. So how do we maximize that? That is also something that we really can get from this. But the question is, how do we drive the incomes in, especially for sports facilities to be constructed and also to be maintained? Because yesterday, the last video that you watched, I was talking about maintenance of the stadium, which is a big issue out there. So the first thing is you need to make ticket sales. I told you the numbers might not be in Uganda, but there's also sports partnerships. I'll give you an example. These sports partnerships and sponsorships really help in improving the infrastructure. I'll give you an example. Clear example is the KCCA Stadium. You'll see that partners like MTN and all the other partners that came in have helped in constructing these stadiums. The realistic example, I think, is the St. Mary's Kitende Stadium. Companies like Roofings came in to help in, for example, providing some of the building materials at a cheaper cost or a discounted rate. Companies like Hoima as well, cement company, came in and helped out in construction of the stadium. So we need these partnerships to really help all areas. I'll give you an example. If you really need, for example, for someone to maintain, for example, your electricity and lighting system. You can work with a company that does that, and it enables you really to cut down the cost of maintaining a stadium, which you really need in one way. And of course, the operation costs are always high, because for a match day, I'll give you an example. A match day experience might cost over 20 or 30 million. So you need to really, and in Uganda here, you might not, from Gates ticket sales, you might not even achieve that. So you need a way of really getting that money on board. And the other thing also is also very important. We need our local communities to come in and start investing in infrastructure. They need to go in and start building stadiums. They need to generate money and start doing communal work by building facilities like that, because these facilities not only help these communities to grow, but they also help in giving these youth an opportunity. We've seen youth that have come from downtown Nigeria and all those funny places in Nigeria, and are now earning pounds and millions of pounds of money in the UK or elsewhere in Europe. So we need to really invest in these communities, and it is about the people in the communities. There needs to be communal programs that really work out to see that at least there is money generated to construct and also to improve on these facilities in their local communities in there. And of course, the other thing is also a question is we really want good facilities, but we also have to be innovative in these facilities for them to be sustainable and for them to really meet the standards that we really want. So I also looked at a few things that we need really to look at in order to really improve these facilities in one way or another. And one of the things that I noticed that we need to do is integration of sustainable and eco-friendly elements in sports infrastructures, eco-friendly things that really will not degrade the environment in any way. So we need to look at that. We need to conserve the environment in one way or another. We also need to look at incorporating renewable energy sources, things like harvesting water. I don't know why we really have, to pay money to water a water. For example, I saw a gentleman, I think it was a musician, Bebeku, coming out and giving a suggestion of digging wells around those stadiums for them to have money, to have water available at a cheap cost, because you all know that all you need is to pump, fill in the tanks, and then water anytime that you need to water. It is a little bit cheaper other than paying, the water that comes in from the National Water and Sewage Corporation. It's a little bit expensive. So we need to have sustainable ways of maintaining these stadiums to really cut the cost down and the bills down. Renewable energies like solar systems and all that stuff need to be at least they need to be installed in all those stadiums and facilities to see that the amount of money that is paid in the bills really comes down. Remember, bills are really a little bit high, so we need to really cut down a few things that really make running these stadiums expensive. We've seen stadiums like the Emirates stadiums. Emirates Stadium is 100% now. In an environmental friendly stadium, the kind of energies that are there, they partnered with a company that works on sustainable energies, and they really work to see that everything is sustainable in there. So we really need to pick those kind of ideas and those kinds of examples from the rest of the world for us to see that these stadiums really reach the level that we want, especially in that a sustainable way. The designs as well need to have smart technologies, and of course these include things like synthetic turfs, which really are easy to maintain. Like I told you, the Amahori stadiums that was just recently completed, the naturalness of the grass is just something like 30%, but most of the 70% is synthetic turf, and it is hybrid grass. Hybrid grass these days is what is used in modern stadiums. And what happens is that it's I think 70% natural and then 30% hybrid, because what happens is that you can trim it, you can do anything, but it has elements of synthetic turf. And what happens is when you have issues to do with dry seasons and all that stuff, this synthetic turf comes in and supports the natural grass. So you not have patches in your stadiums. Like we see in Uganda, most of the stadiums have patches here and there. So we also need to learn how to maintain these stadiums. I'll give you an example. I told you about having water supplies around the stadium, so we can water these stadiums every single day for them not to become dry and have problems like that. And of course, cutting edge lighting systems. I talked about solar high definition video boards that help in pulling advertisers and people that really coming in there. And of course, the most important thing is making the match day experience a little bit more enjoyable to make people desire to be part of the stadiums. And that is the only way we can have money coming in, especially if we need to finance this project, maintain these stadiums. Every stadium that is built in Uganda needs to have something to do with a business kind of mindset to it. It needs to attract people that are going to be investing in it, and that is only way we can have money to sustain the stadiums and have multiple of these. There are a lot of things that I will have another part of these videos to show you the other way we can also make these sports facilities, as well as also include other people that are supposed to be in these sports. For example, I'll talk about women, I'll talk about the youth as well. I'll show you an extension of really what we need to do to make these sports disciplines as well as facilities a little bit more enjoyable, to pull more people to the sports facilities as well as to the games like football and all the other games like basketball, and also at least create something like a sustainable maintenance of these facilities using the kind of ideas that we've put all together. So that was something to do with a few reasons why some stadiums are failing, and I'm not just complaining, but I'm giving solutions as well. So that is why we did this video, not only to complain but to give solutions. But you can also share your ideas in, of course, the comment section down there. But don't forget to share as well as like, but most importantly, subscribe to this channel and keep it here. We shall be coming with a continuation of this for you to enjoy a little bit more. My name is Brian. This is Brianetic Sports. Enjoy your day. See you. Bye-bye.